You've been telling yourself for a long time that you're gonna make your first short film, but you always feel that you don't have the right gear, the right camera, the budget, you don't know any actor, and you don't even know how to get started. And all of that is true, but it's not an excuse not to make your first short film. So in this video, I'm gonna share my 10 tips for you to make your first short film. And make sure to stick until the end, because at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you what you should do with your first short film. And it's not what you think. You're thinking to submit your film to the major film festivals and win an award. Don't do it. Or you might want to upload one single short film to YouTube and let the algorithm do the work for you, and magically you're gonna win the Oscar. Well, that's not gonna happen. Not in 100 years. Stick until the end and I'll tell you exactly what you should do with your first short film. It's gonna blow your mind. By the way, my name is Moy Gonzalez. I'm an independent filmmaker and I recently finished my first feature film, Interrogation. I'm gonna add a link in the description if you want to go ahead and watch it. And with that being said, let's get into it. If you are already a filmmaker, the technical aspect will be very easy for you. You might be perfect as a DP, but now it's time to tell your own stories. And if you're not a filmmaker yet, but you want to start making your own projects, try not to spend a lot of money in your first film. It won't be your best project anyways. Use whatever you already have. It can be your phone, it can be an old camera, or you can rent a camera if you have the budget, but it's not necessary. Lighting, I recommend to use as much natural lighting as possible. If you are shooting inside, use windows as your key light. They actually work pretty well. And if you really need to invest in lighting, get some cheap lights. You can find a good lighting set on Facebook Market for under $100. Steadicam, use your hands. That's it. Learn how to move the camera around using just your hands. It's okay if the image moves a little bit, even when it's not supposed to. Nobody will pay attention to that. Alright, and now let's jump to the tip number 1. Make a unique story. How do you come up with a unique story? One of the best advice I heard in this topic is from director Robert Rodriguez, and it is make a story about you. You are the only one who can tell that story. Nobody else can. Make a story about something that you already know. If you are a bartender, make a short film about a bartender. If you are a delivery guy, make a story about a delivery guy. If you are a filmmaker struggling to make your first project, make a story about that. If you're in high school living with your mom, don't try to make a short film about an astronaut traveling on time. You don't know anything about spaceships. You're not knowledge yet. So ultimately, it's so much better if you can make a story about something that you are familiar with and you already have certain knowledge about it. Making a short film is like telling a story to a friend, but in this case, you're not using the verbal language, you're using the cinematic language. And the more knowledge you have about your story, the better you can tell that story to your audience. Alright, tip number 2, write a simple script for your first short film. In this tip, you don't have to get too complicated. Just make a simple story with the 3 basic acts, which are the beginning, you present your character, who is he, and what he does. 2, the challenge or problem that your character needs to solve. And 3, the conclusion. How do you end your story? Does he find the solution for the problem or not? Is it a happy ending or not? Try to write a personal story. The more personal your story, the better. Maybe it's a story that happened to you in the past, and now you want to improve that story, or you want to give that story a better ending, the ending that you will like for your story. Also, try to create likable characters, someone that we feel empathy for, and we can relate to it. It doesn't matter if it's old or young, a man or woman, we can always build empathy for a genuine and likable person. If people don't like your character, nobody will care about your story. And that doesn't mean that you have to create a victim as your main character. Build a character that is reasonable and can solve problems and has the willing to overcome challenges, and make that challenge or obstacle bigger than your character, so your audience can experience that transition of your character from bad to good, from loser to a winner. Make your audience believe that there is no solution for the problem that your character is facing, but at the end he or she will find the solution. If you make an obstacle that is really easy to solve, there is not much excitement on it. And lastly, please don't start your short film with your character waking up in the morning with the alarm. That's way overused. Make your first scene catchy so you can grab people's attention right from the beginning. My first movie starts with my main character waking up, but not in bed with the alarm. He wakes up with a thunder after a terrible dream in an interrogation room. So right from the beginning, I grab people's attention. Why he is in trouble with the law? What kind of trouble is he in? How did he end up in this situation? And now people wants to know the outcome of the story. So ultimately, we as new filmmakers, we cannot waste any time or any scene. So right from the beginning, jump to the action. Let's waste no time. Tip number 3, find the right actors for your film. 50% of your job as a film director is to find the right actors. If you cast the wrong actor, it's gonna be really hard for you to shape that actor into the character that you have in mind. And you're gonna waste a lot of time making different scenes until you have the right one for your film. But on the other hand, if you cast the right actor for your film, he or she is gonna do the work because they're actors. It's their job to read the script and become that persona. Once you give a role to an actor, it's no longer yours. Now it belongs to the actor. Let him do the job. At first, they might need some directing. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you give me this expression? Can you show me this? Can you show me that? But other than that, they are actors. They can interpret a character better than us. You don't have to control every single expression they make, or the way they're saying their lines, or their body language. That's not your job. Give them some freedom to be and embody that character. And now, how do you find your actors? Backstage is a great place to find your actors, even professional actors. Bear in mind though that you have to pay your actors, and some actors in this page are well-known actors, so you have to pay at least the minimal. So a chunk of the budget goes to pay your actors. You might want to cast a friend, but he or she is not an actor, so you can't expect to have the same results. A good actor can make a bad script a great hit. A terrible actor can ruin your script. If you have no choice and you have to cast a friend, find a friend that already has your character's attitude and personality. If your character is funny, find a funny friend. If your friend is not funny, it's gonna be really hard for you guys to make your scenes. Tip number 4, make your film short. The average length for first timers is 5 minutes. 2 minutes, too little. 10 minutes, too much. 5 minutes is the perfect balance for you to start making your films. And since it's such a tiny film, make sure not to waste any scene or dialogue. Go straight to the point. Famous directors can take their time to build their characters and story, but we as independent filmmakers, we cannot waste a single scene of a film. Don't add unnecessary dialogues if there is no need, or don't stretch your scenes just to reach those 5 minutes. Every page of your script equals 1 minute of screen time, so you only need 5 pages. Take the time to work on those pages and make sure every scene makes sense with the next one, or what we call continuity. Watching a film is like reading a book. Images are symbols, letters are symbols too. If you take one page out of a book, the rest of the book won't make a lot of sense. If your film doesn't have continuity, it won't make sense either. And if you think your script makes perfect sense, you're wrong. Give it to your English teacher and you'll realize how many mistakes you made in your first draft. And that's totally okay. We're not professional writers yet. But at the same time, your story doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure it makes sense, add likable characters, build the 3 acts structure, and you're good to go. Tip number 5, don't use too many locations. Back in 2015, I think there was a challenge on the internet. A filmmaker had to make a film in one single location. And when I say one location, I mean one single room. If you want to do that, go right ahead. The less locations, the better. If you want to use more than one location, go ahead, but I highly recommend you to use as less locations as possible. Use locations that you already have or you have access to. If you don't have access, make sure to get a permit. You don't want anybody to kick you out of a place with your whole crew. Tip number 6, don't neglect audio. Here is a harsh truth about film directing. When you're making a film, you're not making only one film. You're actually making 2 films. One is all of your scenes, all of your images, color grading, structure, the visible aspect of your film. And the second film, it's all of the audio, dialogues, music, songs, sound effects, and all of the audible. And that might be more important than the film itself. So here's the thing, when you're filming your scenes, just focus on your scenes and the dialogues. Don't worry about the sound effects. You can add any sound effect on post, but not the dialogues. Well, maybe you can, but it's gonna be really hard for you to synchronize and it won't look authentic. So when you're filming, all you need is your scenes and a clear audio of your dialogues. In the editing room, you can add anything you want. You can download sound effects from Our List or Epidemic Sound, or you can make your own sound effects like I did in my feature film, because sometimes you will need a specific sound effect that is hard to find or it doesn't match with your scenes. It takes a little bit more time, but definitely looks better and sounds better. That's what professional studios do on big productions. Songs. You probably don't need a song for your 5-minute short film or maybe for the credits, but don't use a famous song unless you have the copyright. You can find good songs on MusicBed, you just have to pay for it, and you can use it for your projects. What I did for my film is that I used to make a lot of music videos for local artists here in Columbus, and sometimes when I was filming these videos, I was like, I like this song, I'm wondering if I can use it for my film. So I will ask the singer, hey, you know what, if you let me use this song for my film, I won't charge you anything for your video. And and all of them were very happy to include their songs on my film because they were saving money and it's more promotions for their music. That's collaboration. You invest in other people's projects and they invest in your projects as well. And there you go, that's how you can add songs to your film. If you need background music for certain scenes, I also recommend Artlist or MusicBed. Bear in mind though that anyone can use the same music, so you won't have original music for your film. But this is your first short film, so I don't think it's necessary to pay a composer for original music. Maybe in the future for bigger projects. That's what I did for this scene in my feature film. But that was expensive, so save your budget for now. Tip number 7, work on your dialogues. But first of all, if you're making a 5-minute short film, sometimes you don't even need dialogues. There are so many great short films with zero dialogue, and they perform pretty well. There are also musical short films with no dialogues, but music instead. So if you have an original song, you can make a short film out of that song. I did that in the past, and I'm not very proud of my first short films, but you know, I was still learning. Voiceover. If you want to tell a story with no dialogues, you can also use voiceover to explain your scenes and your story, and that also works pretty well. Now, if you want to add dialogues to your film, congratulations, but there are certain rules that we have to follow. Here are some of them. Don't over-explain a scene with dialogues. For example, if your character is going to the kitchen in the middle of the night, don't add a line for your character saying, "Oh, I'm so hungry right now." I mean, we know that. Instead, have your character making a sandwich with whatever he can find in the fridge. That's what we do when we're hungry. Don't express feelings with dialogues. Don't add lines like, "Oh, I'm so mad right now," or "I'm upset." Instead, show emotions. What do we do when we're mad or upset? Sometimes we don't even want to talk. Instead of having a dialogue of a mom saying, "I miss my daughter so much because she had to move to the city," make a scene of a mother holding a picture of her daughter when she was a kid. Dialogues are not always necessary. You're making a film, not writing a book. You're telling a story using this language. Learn how to express yourself using this cinematic language. Images talk louder than words. Rule number 2, don't add long pauses between your lines just to make your film longer. I've been seeing this mistake in many short films where a character is like, "Hey, you okay? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Come on, guys, we don't talk like that. Come on. Make that conversation flow just like real people talk. Rule number 3, and this is the biggest mistake a writer-director can do. If you're making this mistake, you should consider finding another career. And that is, let your actors improvise their lines. That's not their job. If they're saying their own lines, they're not acting, they're being themselves. That's your job as a writer-director to create your own story and your own dialogues. If you can write, find a partner who can write, and you guys can work together. Tip number 8, learn how to direct actors. 80% of your job as a director is to know how to communicate, how to express your ideas, your thoughts, how to communicate your vision to your actors and the rest of the crew. For example, I'm gonna communicate my thought to you. I'm thinking about a car, but you don't know what kind of car. Is it big? Is it small? It's a 4-door car, blue Honda Civic. Okay, now you have a clear vision of my thought because I was very specific. That's what I'm thinking. Your job is to communicate your idea with your actors and your team as clear as possible. And it's their job to take that idea out of your head and put it on the screen. What does a film director does? Nothing. He doesn't act in the movie, he doesn't hold the camera, the lights, the microphone. Someone else do that. He's like the manager at a restaurant. He doesn't cook, he doesn't make the drinks, he doesn't do the dishes, but he makes sure that everyone is doing their job. As a film director, it's your job to make sure everyone is doing their job according to your vision. And the way you do that is to learn how to effectively communicate with others. Tip number 9. Take it easy, relax, don't put so much pressure on you. If it's raining and you can't shoot, you can't shoot. If an actor's called off, you make different scenes. If you have to cancel for the day, you shoot next weekend. If you have to reshoot some of your scenes, just make different scenes. And this time make them 10 times better. We're still learning, this is a process. We don't have the power to control the seas and the oceans or the weather. We work with what we have and we do our best. And tip number 10, don't use AI. This is your first short film. Be creative. Put some effort on it. Speak from your heart. Express yourself. Tell us your story. We want to hear your story. Find your audience. It's only 5 minutes. You can handle it. I believe in you. And here is an additional tip for you. If you want to be a great storyteller, read. Read as much as you can. When you read, you put your brain in this massive exposure of knowledge. You learn how to create characters, how to structure your story, how to create dialogues, and how to catch people's attention. So read as much as you can. And now finally, I'm gonna tell you what you should do with your first short film. And like I say, it's not to submit your film to the film festivals and hope to win an award. I'm gonna tell you what you should do with your first short film. Start building your audience. Having an audience is more important than the film itself. In today's world, a content creator has a bigger audience than an independent film director. Just ask the average person. Did you know Alessandra La Coraza? Nobody knows her. Did you know Miko Makela? Never heard of it. But did you know Mr. Beast? Did you know Casey Neistat? Did you know Joe Rogan? Of course, absolutely. If any of those guys will make a film tomorrow, they will be first on the line in the film festivals because they already have an audience. People will pay to watch their movies. Every single film director has to build their own audience, just like a content creator. Without an audience, you're invisible. Having an audience is more important than the film itself. Even if you have a great film, nobody will watch it because you don't have an audience. Nobody knows you. So start building your audience. The sooner the better. And the best way to build your audience is to put your content out there. And of course, you're gonna need hundreds of videos and probably dozens of short films. But remember this quote, excellence is not an act, but a habit. But there you go, guys. Those are my tips and my advice for you. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you want to watch my movie, Interrogation, I'm gonna add a link in the description so you can go ahead and watch it. I'm gonna wrap up here. Adiós, amigos.
Súbele a la radio, súbele al estéreo, porque esto viene en serio. Prende el noticiero, una vez más el residente forastero. Residente forastero.